Sup, Migs? This is Fred, and I am a lone wolf in black sheep's clothing. So, tonight I want to talk to you guys about the benefits of being single. And I've written up like 5 top reasons why it's great being single, and you don't really need somebody else in your life to make you happy. So, my first one is your time is your own. And that's something that we all take for granted sometimes. Like, we don't value our time enough. Like whether we want to use it for something productive or we end up giving it to somebody else. Um, and, when you're in a relationship, your time is their time too. They always want to be around you, they always want to see you. And me being an introvert, I like my space, and I get overwhelmed when I'm around somebody for like long periods of time, and that could also, uh, dampen the mood. So just the general keep keep your space between two people when you're in a relationship is totally great advice. And some people just just always want to be together. I'm not one of those people, so I learned from my last experience uh, that um, I'm not built to be with somebody for long, extended periods of time because you tend to take that person for granted. You take that person for granted, and how does it make them feel about like how you feel about them? Like you end up getting a little bored of them, and nobody likes the feeling of being you know like you're just there as an object. um, and uh, for me, I I get bored really easily, um, and I'm not proud of that. So I really think that if I'm going to date or be with somebody, or see somebody rather than be somebody, see somebody for like dating or whatever, it's just only do it for a little bit, like once a week, 2 times a week max. I'm gonna be more casual when it comes to relationships. Then again, I don't really care for one, so which brings me back to the point of this topic. Um, you have like more time for yourself, your hobbies, your passions, and especially just trying to find yourself. You know, finding out who you are, like in your core. And I know that it's really difficult to balance, wanting to see somebody else and trying to find who you are on the inside. But if I had to choose all over again, I would have chosen myself. Having to sacrifice your time for somebody else's sake will only continue to make you unhappy, and that's what happened with me. So I know that it's going to be really rough wanting to share that time with somebody else, but at the end of the day, even when you're with somebody in the same bed, you can feel like you're alone. Like, even with somebody beside you, you don't have somebody else to, you know, truly understand you other than maybe your parents. But even then, like, they may not even know who you truly are. Only you know. And you should want to know. continue knowing, continue figuring yourself out. And it's going to be well worth it in the end because, for one, you're much happier. And two, you don't have to rely on anybody else's approval or validation to continue feeding your self esteem. So that's point one. Moving on to point two, you don't have anyone to answer to. Nobody. You have no obligations. You have no nagging, no compromise, and just no noise. You have all you have is peace, and you don't need somebody else's permission or another person's opinion to decide what's best for you. Um, like maybe not even just being in a relationship, just like having other people's expectations on who you are in their eyes. Like whether it's your parents or you know even your bosses. But then again, it's a professional setting, so of course you're going to meet your professional obligations. That's totally different. But for somebody else's image of you, you have to break through that. Just who gives a fuck, what they think? Who cares what anybody else thinks about you? So being single, it's much more liberating because you don't have somebody else always having to be on your case on who you are, and that's that's the most benefit to being single. You don't have anybody else to answer to, like whenever you want to do something, which ties in with my first one. Like you can do whatever you want without anybody having to hold you back, and which leads to my next point: self-agency. This one's a pretty big one because, um, like I was saying earlier, you're your own person and you have potential. You have a vast amount of potential as a individual, and you don't need somebody else to hold you back. You don't need to depend on someone to validate your existence because your self-esteem and your self-respect should come from within yourself, and it's not feeding off of somebody else, wanting to continue to be around you and like you and just like anybody in general, because in the end we're all alone. We all only have ourselves to rely on, and when you have people in your life, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of bullshit from them, and it's just gonna bring unnecessary stress. It's just troublesome. You don't want to have to have that noise always in the forefront of your mind. Like you have to disagree with them. You're gonna have like fights. You have to compromise, and you have to think about what you have to do next because you have to worry about what the other person's thinking and how they're going to respond and how you're going to respond, and then emotions get you know hurt, feelings get hurt, and like it's just going to erupt, and it's going to just continue always just stressing you out. And it comes to a point where you just don't want to deal with that other person, and you question if like where they stand with you, and if you still like them or you still love them. And that's what's a relationship like. If that's what the relationship's going to be, then what's the point of having one? I mean, sure, call it like pessimistic, but at the end of the day, it's all about being real. And if you can find somebody who can see the same things and share the same values with you, and you can, see eye to eye, then yeah, then go for it. But how often does that work out? Like, how often will there be somebody who's going to, you know, take a step down and, you know, seek to understand in order to be understood? And it's it's not very likely. Um, I mean, because you also have your products on the line, at stake. And we're, as guys, we have big egos, so we're not gonna always see from the other person's point of view, and that's only gonna cause conflict, and conflict brings stress. So um, only have only deal with that at work, or you know just at work. What's the point of having somebody else always like at your throat about things? Um, you know, it's not going to end well. So uh, that brings me to my next topic. It's basically drama. You don't have somebody else to argue with. You don't have drama. Uh, and women love drama. Like, I can't even tell you, man. It's just like they want things to like, just like they just want to purposely annoy you so that you can give them that drama that they want in order to feel something. I mean, sure, like I've risen to the bait one too many times, and that's like like my fault too, because I rose to the challenge, or I rose to the occasion of you know wanting to fight back, and all it did was just bring me stress, her stress, and it it never really would pan out well. It's just really unnecessary. But I could see where she's coming from. She just wants attention, and that's what you got to like stop right there. You have to control yourself, like your response, and that comes with time. Like you have to have a lot of patience when you're in a relationship, especially like from what I've learned. So where we all should learn patience, like regardless, but that I guess that just comes with being older. You just start to learn that things don't always have to happen the way you want it to. Sure, it would be nice, and you can, you know, hope for the best, but you don't have to push it, you know. So it's it's a great practice having patience, because women, they're gonna give you a lot of tests, and that's gonna take a lot of patience. They're gonna test your patience, and whether you pass them or not, like it's just gonna bring you a lot of headache, and if it gets worse, a lot of heartache. So yeah, develop some patience, and how you can do that is just wait and be okay with waiting. So like if somebody gives you like some shit about something, don't respond right away. Just take in how you feel, and acknowledge that feeling, and breathe. Let it out, because if you take the time to think about what your response is going to be, and you think about the consequences of what you say, good or bad, then you're going to have a lot more power because you're learning the power of patience. So, um, give you an example. Like when I got in trouble at work, um, my first time I got in trouble ever, I, kind of held my tongue as I was being talked to about, my shortcomings. So all I did was just take in the criticism, and I understood where they were coming from, but I also understood where I was coming from. So all you have to do is just be professional. You keep your bearing. You hold your bearing is what we call in the military. So which means you don't show emotion. And there was times when I lost my bearing. It's like um, I showed emotion, and that's not that's not professional. So you have to develop patience in order to maintain your bearing, and you do that by just thinking about what you're going to say, and you just have to keep yourself patient, and that comes with time, and you learn it, and that's the way to do it. And with women, you're gonna have to have a lot of patience, just like in general, like whether you're in a relationship or not. Uh, it's it's a great lesson to be had. So and so like considering all of this, like your time for yourself, it's your own. It's your own. Like you don't have anybody else to answer to. You're not having anybody able to give you trouble about anything that you want to do on your own. You have your own self agency. Like you're your own person. You don't have to rely on somebody else to be there for you because you have your own potential to worry about. Like you like all you should really be doing is just listening to what speaks to you from the inside rather than somebody else telling you what their best interest for you is. So like and if you're able to kind of incorporate that, like you'll have no drama, and drama is just the number one way to lose somebody else, because if you don't know how to handle the drama, then or you don't know how to just quell it, cut it right outright, nip it at the bud, then you're gonna have a tough time. Like I said, headache and heartache. But all of those points sums up to the concept of freedom. And your freedom is the most important quality and aspect of your life for anything. Like, as long as you know that you're free to do, whatever you want to do, then you can do whatever you want. You can do anything. And I want to say and wrap this up with just enjoy your freedom. You don't have anybody else to hold you back because you're the one with the potential. And you don't need to have somebody by you in order to reach your destination in life and where you want to be. And the benefit, like the main benefit of being single is you're able to travel light. You don't have a burden to carry on your shoulders, and you're able to become whoever you dreamed of becoming. No one else is going to get you there other than yourself. So that's what it's all about. It's freedom. And that's it. Thanks for listening. And if you like my videos, click the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. If you have any suggestions or any topics that you'd like to talk to me or tell me about, and for me to expand and talk about, then feel free to comment on the comment box below. All right, this is Fred, over and out. Peace.